Let's see, James, Bobby's on. Keeps here.
All 5 members here today.
Okay, we're just missing Kevin. So I think we have a quorum, correct?
Correct.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's NBAR meeting. My name is Michael McGinty. At this time, we will open up for public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to a subject that is not on today's agenda? Not seeing anybody raise their hand. We will move on to member recusals. Just to let you know, I will be recusing myself from the last item on today's agenda. As we are part of that project, I will return after the discussion to close the meeting. Is there anybody else that needs to recuse themselves on any of the items on today's agenda? Hearing only a sniffle, I will assume no. We will move on now to the agenda status report.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Kevin.
I need to recuse myself from the last 2 items also.
Well, it's like you're getting out of school early.
Well, unless, let me make a clarification on item 3.
Okay.
We are the landscape architect for the larger commercial center, but not that pad. Being the only landscape architect on the board, is there an objection if I sit in on it?
I don't have an objection.
I think it's a great idea.
We would appreciate that, not getting out of school so early.
All right,
All right,
then
thank you
I'll
very
be
much.
recusing from just the last item then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 3, the agenda status report.
We have no requests. We have no requests to continue today, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so we can go then?
Yep.
All right,
Is that Jonathan, by the way?
Yes.
that is.
Okay.
All right, moving on to item number 4, the minutes for the September 30th meeting. That was sent out in the package. I'm hoping that you have all had a chance to review those, and if so, would you like to make any changes to those meeting minutes?
Well, item 2. The second item on there. You probably should take out the words "are" and in the middle and just say period after center lines and then show transition from street to driveway.
Right.
And then the next one down, instead of material, it should say veneer to siding and soffits. And maybe we should number these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 buttons down. After it says too skinny, it's too skinny at the entry, put at entry.
Oh, okay.
And the second from the last, it says garage, but it should say garage door.
Okay.
And that's all I can see.
I'll make sure to fix those.
Okay.
Anything else on any of the items? Not hearing anyone, I'll ask for a motion now to approve the September meeting minutes as amended.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Very well.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Very much, gentlemen. Moving on to the NBAR members informational briefing. Has anybody had any contact with applicants, staff, or representatives?
I haven't.
Hearing only silence, we'll move on to the item number 6, the staff update.
There, this is Shannon Reese. I don't have any updates for you today, other than there's a couple hiring lists out for both the north and south offices, so we might have some new staff joining us in the next few months.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
So do I.
I bet. Moving on to item number 7, consideration of the COVID state of emergency. I'll ask for a motion to continue our Zoom meetings for the November meeting.
Yes, I do.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
On now to the standard agenda. And I think what we'll do
You're
is-
hard to hear, Michael, by the way.
Oh, am I? How's that?
A little echoey, but better.
Okay, I will look at the computer instead of my dog. All right. So with that, when we come back for the November meeting, you've already been sent out the schedule for 2023. I would ask that you look at that schedule, make sure that the dates are good for you, and then we will consider doing an in-person meeting.
When was that sent out, Michael?
I think it was sent out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I should look
I'm not
back in
sure I
my,
received it either.
I didn't
Yeah.
get it, I don't think.
I can send out a copy of the schedule to the members after the meeting.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
Thanks. It'd be
Okay.
great.
Yeah, I got it. I got it, Jim. And the only thing I said was that the first meeting of the year is on my birthday. So you
Yay!
guys better have a nice birthday celebration for me.
Let them eat cake.
There you go.
Should we hold a
We
meeting
got
at
to do it in
Elmer's?
person, okay? So
Yeah, I second that. Let's go to Elmer's for your birthday there, buddy.
sounds good, okay? Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right, with that all said, we are now going to return back to the standard agenda. Item number 1, BAR 22-00092, the Shepherd Addition and Garage. Is the planner available and is the applicant available? If so, please introduce yourselves for the record and we will begin your presentation.
This is Tina Mitchell. I'm the planner on the project, and I'm available for any questions. I think I'll let the applicant, Trevor Kruger, take over on presenting.
Hi, everybody. It's Trevor Kruger here. I'm the applicant agent for Mike Shepherd. I'm actually working from home right now. I don't have the plans available. Do one of you guys have the plans you can put up on the screen?
Yeah, Jonathan, can you take care of that?
Yes, absolutely.
So we're here for the final review. We went over some stuff last time, and I addressed those issues. So once the plans come up, we can take a look at it. So some of the main concerns were the front entry, widening the columns, the transition from the stone to the soffit by the front door, drop the garage door roofs down to the standard plate height, add some gable end vents, maybe address ideas for spots for solar on the roof, and the garage door colors, I think, were the majority of the issues we discussed. If you guys take a look at the plans, I dropped down the garage door roofs, the shed roofs, to the 8-foot plate height, and then on the front entry, I widened the columns up another 3 to 4 inches, and then I added a header above the main entry door there to transition between the stone and the soffit roof. And then I added some gable end vents on the gables to help with the facade there. You guys have any questions on that?
Where are you in plan check?
So the planning has been approved via just waiting on the BAR review, final review
Okay, so you haven't submitted.
to building.
Okay.
Do you have the construction documents with you today then? Or are they available? Normally we would.
I don't have anything. I'm unexpectedly at home. I tested positive for COVID the other day, so I'm doing the best I can with what I got. So, what I have are the plans that are in front of us right now.
Do you have the plans ready that you're going to submit somewhere?
So my engineer is working on the engineering right now for the structural.
And usually what we need are, well, let's go back and look at there was also some site stuff that you did, I think.
Yeah, just called out the driveways.
And did you figure out what the slopes are? I thought that maybe we figured it out already, that they were going to be pretty gentle.
Yeah, they're pretty gentle. I went out to the site, did another review. There's only about I would say 8 to 12 inches of slope between the back and where the metal building is. So from the left side of the main residence to the metal building, to the left side of the metal building, it's only about 8 inches of change in grade there. So it's going to be very gentle. I think Mike did a calculation last time, and it was only a couple percent slope.
And are the two buildings the same elevation? One steps down a little bit from the other one, as I recall.
No, we were going to keep them at the same height.
Same height.
Yeah.
And the road, is that where you've drawn the curb? Is that pretty much where the edge of the roadway is?
So based on the site map, the assessor parcel map, and the width of the road, so that's based on the dimensions given there. I did reach out to the roads department, and he never got back to me. So that's what I had to work with. If you guys scroll down to the next page, I believe that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So you've got sidewalks. You've got a sidewalk up. You're going to run it out to the street, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, another probably 8 feet, 8 feet.
Can we scroll? Whoever's got this, can they scroll to the next page?
Yes.
Yeah. So the what you're talking about is on the left side. The sidewalk is right behind the encroachment.
Yeah, where it says expanded residence.
Yeah.
So you're going to run that out to the street though, right?
Oh yes, to the front door. Yeah, we can run that all. We'll run that all the way out to the street.
Yeah, and the street, the paving probably starts about where your curb line is. Did you measure that?
Yeah, that's almost exactly where the pavement is at right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like a 10-foot parkway.
Yes.
Also on your submittal plans, are you going to have to put any grade elevations anywhere?
I called out the existing grade on the no. So I don't have a topographic map or anything, and there's no grade lines called out. Based on the roads division, I'm under the max width, the max width for submittal for that. So it's just an encroachment permit only for the driveway.
Out in the street, but I mean, a lot of times they'll ask you for spot elevations and how you're going to drain it. Usually,
no, I don't have any of that. No, and I haven't come across that requirement from building before.
Okay, well, it just depends.
Yeah, it depends on the plan, on the checker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need to be able to show that you can get the water out from behind the site, behind the buildings, without inundating the adjacent or neighboring properties.
And which way the water is going to flow and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll draw a swale, and it'll run down to Union.
I mean, on the back of your property between
that
exist.
Yeah. So
I don't even want to ask you about your neighbor house, but you know, there'll be water that runs through there.
Yeah, so there'll be a swale. So we'll have rain gutters, and then he'll have a drainage line, and it'll drain down to Union Avenue.
Also, did we already talk about colors?
Yes, they're on the front sheet.
On the front sheet. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
I
Usually
apologize, Kevin.
what we need are also any kind of details about like windows and how you're going to do corners and how you're going to do overhangs, the stuff that's usually on a set of building plans.
So the elevations are pretty clear. It just doesn't have like labeling. How we have the wood corners and it shows the overhangs, shows the windows.
What do you think of lowering do you like the garage door better lowered or the way it was before?
I like it better lowered.
It makes more sense, and you've got
It
a
helps
piece of wood.
reduce the scale of that elevation quite a bit, in my opinion.
Trevor,
But I think we do need to see some details though.
Right. Usually what we get are for final approval is the plans as they're going to be submitted to the building department. I don't see anything wrong with your house as it is for now, but in order to get the final stamp from us, probably, and you can submit right now to the building department. Yeah, and we need to get a set of plans that you're going to submit, and short of the structural drawings, structural details, but any architectural details, showing your grades, your drainage and stuff like that too, probably. And then we can just approve those.
Yeah, especially that area around the front, the front columns and how that's soffit and the beam that you added, all that details together would be something that you'd want to provide architectural details for.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because you're going to have a lot of sheet metal and flashing and waterproofing with all the different materials and stuff. So that's what we're looking for. Is
all right.
Not only a representation of what you've got, but we want to make sure it's going to work.
Okay.
So how far are you out from getting a submittal set of drawings?
It'll only take me a day or two to put together all those details. And then I'm just waiting on the engineer to do his stuff, but you don't care about that per se. So essentially you just want everything but the engineering, which is just a couple of days of my time. So it's not like it's going to take that long for me to get that done. Engineering might take longer, as you know, everybody's pretty busy.
Right.
Yeah, well, all we really need to see is the architectural set, which would be, the grading and the elevations noted with what materials are where and colors, so that rather than just having a legend, and then the architectural details for basically typically where materials come together.
And like
Okay.
Steve said, like
Flashing.
where you've got a post and like two little beams coming across, just think about how do you want to set them and all that sort of thing. Windows, corners, overhangs.
Okay. Not a problem.
So what we're really looking at is, because let me ask the board. Do you have any issue with the aesthetic, the rest of the aesthetic? Are there any comments that you want to make on what is submitted now?
I think it's okay. It's kind of fitting in the old Orchid.
Right.
Anybody else?
I didn't have any issue with it.
So Trevor, what we're looking at right now is, Jim is correct. We typically see all of the details as though you were going to submit them to the building department. I don't see any reason why you can't just continue on, get your set of plans ready for submittal, and then submit a complete architectural set to us for final approval on consent, meaning that you don't have to attend the meeting. I mean, it would be good if you did. To give you a little bit more experience with us. But we can just verify that you provided the details, that they work. And then we can stamp the plans approved.
Yeah,
Well,
that
with-
sounds reasonable.
Well, I mean, without those details, we really can't do that at this time.
Okay.
And also you can't, join the meeting like you're doing right now without much effort to answer questions, which would be in your interest, I would think, in case somebody has a question about a detail or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a problem attending the meeting and answering any questions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll put together the architectural details and hopefully I can get it back before you guys in the next month or two. As long as the engineer doesn't find any issues with the structural viability of things.
Yeah, I think you can provide those architecturals without.
Yeah, we don't
much
need to see the
structural
structure.
input.
Yeah. So,
You know?
Yep,
So we-
sounds good to me.
Yeah. I
Did
mean,
you also
with-
get the point about noting which colors go where on your elevations and stuff?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. I
Yeah,
can,
'cause-
yeah,
We want to see a complete detailed set of architectural things.
all right.
So the painter won't get confused.
Yep.
It's
Now,
happened. It's happened.
yep, more clear the better. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. I appreciate it, and I'll get those details together.
Okay, so just for the minutes, he will, go ahead and complete his architectural set and return for final approval.
And that's on consent, correct? I just want to make sure that's clear.
Well,
in the-
I think, if his willingness to attend the meeting and answer any questions that we have,
Got it.
I don't think we need to do it on consent. So,
I
Okay,
think we do it just as a final
Yeah.
approval meeting.
okay, thank you.
thank you very much. Thank you, Trevor.
Yep. Thank you guys.
All right, moving on to the second item on today's agenda, EIR number 21-00244, the Thompson Housing Project LLC. If the agent is ready, you're going to introduce yourself for the record and begin your presentation.
So we've got Frank Thompson here. He just unmuted himself, so he'll probably do the intro, and then the landscape architect and architect for the project are here too. I'll turn it over to Frank.
Good. Thanks, Shannon. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So I don't recall if we've been to ABR before, but there have been substantial changes, and I kind of might want to look at this as a new project. So this is an apartment project in the town of New Cuyama. I don't know how familiar you are with it. There's about 110 single-family homes, 4 or 5 duplexes, 2 commercial buildings. It's not a real large town. And that the town was originally built in the mid-50s by Atlantic Richfield Company, so it was company housing. So there's not a whole lot of variety in what were relatively plain modular structures to work from. So we've had a number of meetings, private, meetings in Cuyama to seek guidance from the residents about what they would prefer. And we had started out originally with a style that maybe was an idea of somewhere around late 50s, early 60s kind of commercial building, which was not well supported by the community. And so here's our next best shot. So I'd like to, anyways, it's a 2-story building. There are 2 of them that face each other across.
Can we get it on the screen?
Sure, that'd be great. I can't do it. Somebody else can do it. Shannon?
I have the plans up right here.
Thank you, John.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Thanks. Thanks.
So let me know what sheet you would like me to go to, and I can scroll through.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm an economist and a property owner, and I'm going to turn it over to the architect Pablo Romero to introduce his project and their concept.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so I'm going to start with some general information, and then because of timing, I'm going to have Landscape go through what they're proposing. But first, yeah, we did come before you on December last year. We did receive some comments regarding the architectural style and the massing of the building, and so we're coming back both from in attention to your comments and those of the community. We went back to the drawing board, and whereas we were proposing this in a in kind of a modern 50s style, now we've gone back with something that's a little more in tune with the housing type of the community, and we've gone with modern farmhouse style. So that's what we're approaching. And so can we go to the next sheet, please, and try to make it full screen?
Yeah, this is
civil. Just to thank you. This is civil, and I'm not going to go into deep detail, but as you see, the site is flowing from the lower right corner, which is southeast corner, towards the northwest. There's a natural slope going in that direction. So the approach that we're taking here is we're building, the buildings are set in blocks and terraces rather, and stepping down towards the natural slope of the building. We do have a retaining area at the northwest corner of the site, and where everything flows in that direction. Can we, next slide, please?
okay. Sorry, my computer's going a little slow this morning.
No worries. Probably the previous one is better. Or okay, so it's taking a minute.
Yeah, sorry, just 1 second.
Yeah, A001 is the one that I'm looking for.
8001.
Yes, please. Excellent.
There we go.
Thanks so much. Okay, so basically we have 3 structures in the site, and everything's organized through the central parking. So in the north, we have the north building, which houses 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom apartments. All of them are accessed through some lobbies that connect them. And then on the south building, these are all 1-bedroom units, and we also have community facilities such as a community room, laundry, restrooms, kitchen, and the likes. And finally, facing Perkins Road, which is the street running along the west, north-south along the west edge, we have a commercial structure, a small commercial structure. Guillermo, I don't know if you wanna. We only have this one and the plant list that you sent on the end. Do you wanna talk about the approach now?
Yes, I can do that, and then we can using this plan. I know that there's some changes on the landscape, but I could walk them through, and then we can look at the plan palettes and go over that. So.
Perfect.
My name is Guillermo Gonzalez. I'm Blue Studio. I'm the landscape architect for the project. And so for this side, we are going with a native plant palette. We're trying to take the most ornamental native plants to use on the side and create a nice habitat for both, bring some wildlife, meaning like butterflies and hummingbirds, and also use the trees to provide some relief from sun and temperatures and kind of create some microclimates. So based on that, we proposing a large canopy trees for the parking lot, which is the more exposed area. And on the west side, along the Perkins Street, we want to plant some windbreak trees to help with the prevailing winds. And also it's kind of reminiscing of some of the agricultural when you have the head roads on between the fields. And right next to it is the playground. So we thought it would be a good place to have maybe some deciduous trees that would allow some sunlight during the winter and provide some shade during the summer. The playground area itself, we're proposing to have a turf alternative lawn area, which is the only lawn, turf area on the side that we're proposing. And that will be made with native plants like Carex that could uses less water and can provide a sense of a turf area to play. Otherwise, along the front of the buildings and most of the gardens, we're proposing to have a chaparral sage garden with flowering plants that, like I mentioned, it brings some of the hummingbird and uses low water. And as you move to the patio avenue, right now where it shows the community garden, we're proposing to have a small orchard trees, some fruit trees that would do well on that location, just to provide a little bit of edible that goes with the community garden. And then also along Perkins Avenue, the way the seawall is draining the side toward that side is creating a swell. So we're creating a rain garden along that swell that is using some of plants that are more common on drainages. And that by that, I mean, we have some grasses, we have some sycamores, we have like a silver willow. They're attractive, but, it would reinforce the way that the site is draining and kind of create an interesting garden for kids, especially around the playground. So if we can go to the next page, would be the planting plan. We can show you what we planning in terms of feel for the landscape.
I think it's the last sheet. The last sheet is the one that we're looking for.
This is the last sheet on the.
Correct. So that's the plant palette with the images. So on the top, we have, the trees that we looking into using for the side. And then you can see what I was discussing in terms of chaparral sage, flowering plants. We like the idea of also having, rather than having mulch or ground covers, have more of a decorative gravel or a textured ground cover. You can see in some of the images. So it's a very soft native landscape that we think it would do very well on that location on Yokoyama, and we take in consideration also your different climate requirements that would go with that. So with this, I would like to conclude, and I appreciate if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. I do have a little bit of a time constraint, but I could be here for the next 15, 20 minutes.
What trees are you going to put on the playground?
On the playground, we're thinking of using more like a sycamore on the corner, on one of the corners, and then along the edge of the road, we're thinking more of a populus trees, like a wind road kind of tree.
Sycamore have pods, don't they?
Sycamore have those balls, yes, those little, correct, they do. They come down. Mhm. They're about almost 1.5 inches or so round.
Are they water intensive?
The sycamore is, but we're associating it with the rain garden, right where the seabowl is draining the water to, and it's the only tree that we using in that area that, yeah, it would take a little bit more water than the rest of the trees. They could also go for long periods of time with no water, like they do in the creeks when there is no water running.
And what kind of grass area are you putting in the playground area?
We're thinking of using a carex. Carex is a native grass, so Carex praegracilis, that could be mow. So it's sort of like a native meadow. It uses a lot less water than regular lawn area, and it's a native grass. So yes, it can take, like I say, much less water.
Is it rugged enough for a playground?
It is rugged enough. The Santa Barbara, for example, in Santa Barbara Botanic Garden, they have the meadow with that. It's used. It doesn't take a soccer game, but it would take kids, running around and tumbling. But yes, it definitely would not take any type of sport. There's also normal fescue or a fescue blend, but that's a little bit taller and floppy. So we like to use something that could be more closer to the ground, so it's more like.
Not a landscape architect. Is the gray pine indigenous to that area?
The gray pine is not necessarily indigenous to that area because the location is in the valley. There's no real trees to that, but as it goes up on the slopes, then you start getting into pine. So it is more of that in general location, not that location specific.
Jim, there's only upland trees around there. We went through that with Fish and Game recently, looking for native trees in Cuyama, and there's only upland species, but all those are really big. Can you consider looking for something that's smaller? If you drive around in town, you'll see trees that are doing pretty well in that area that are smaller scale, in the smaller spaces that you need. And for the play area, you might want to consider buffalo grass. It's a lower growing, a little easier on kids running around instead of the tufts of the carex. They might, twist an ankle or something in there. But other than that, the plant palette's really nice for that area. It'll do well.
Okay, I appreciate your input. Thanks. Yeah, the bulalua, the buffalo grass is sometimes mixed with the carex. I wasn't thinking, just so to make it clear, I wasn't thinking of the bunch carex. It's more the gracilis. It's more of a rhizome, so it grows more like a grass. So it would be a mix of the two, actually.
Okay. But I think you need to consider a smaller tree species to add to your mix for some of the areas that you've got on the site plan.
We do have toyons, that's a small tree, and we do have the silver willow too that we would like to use, but that's more on one side. So we definitely would add some more. You're right. This is more like a general palette, and at the time I'm just thinking more of the shade, but we're gonna have to address some of the small areas as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, I think the palette's fine.
Back to the architecture now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Can we go now to slide 5, please?
and that's A101.
Thanks. Excellent. Okay, so I'm not gonna dwell too much on the floor plans. I know that you're more interested in massing and how this impacts the community in general. But still, just to get the understanding of what's happening here, as I had mentioned, we're talking about this is the north building, a 2-story building. We have it's basically three elements tied by a couple of lobbies, which provide access to all the units. We have a series of units facing north, and the other are facing south. They're basically mirrored. And the ones at the ends, the 2 units at the ends are, rather the 4 units at the ends, 2 each side, are the 3-bedroom units, whereas the block in the middle is it's 4 2-bedroom units. Each one of the units is provided with some either balconies on the 2nd floor or decks in the ground level. Because we do have crawl space in here, that's important for the way we're thinking about building this structures. Everything's floating a bit above the ground, and so we are providing decks at each one of the units individually, at least one open space outside. The lobbies are, the protruding a bit towards the parking structure, trying to become a little more predominant and talk about importance of, bringing people in. And you'll see how this translates into the massing as we see the renderings. Can we see the next slide, please? The roof is it's basically a parapet for most of the side. We do have some mansards along the corners, but for the most part, we're talking about a parapet, and it's a flat roof. We are proposing most of the roof for photovoltaic panels, as well as some other solar water heaters and mechanical features. So everything, it's going to be a densely occupied rooftop.
How tall is the parapet?
42 inches, because we're nearing, we're trying to maximize the use of the roof for all of these structures, all of these elements. Yes, we're going to have to meet the minimum 42-inch high towards the end. Can we see the next slide, please? And this is the south building, and similarly, we have it's basically a mirrored structure. In this case, faces the parking lot. We also are trying to provide outdoor space for most of the units. Some of the units are slightly larger. The ones in the corners, these are accessible, fully accessible units. So the exterior space was not, we were not able to achieve, providing exterior space, individual private exterior space for these units, but they're slightly larger than the rest. Other than that, all the units are provided with deck or balcony as well. And in the lower level of the, on the right hand, we have all that community activity going on. So we have the meeting room or community room with a kitchen and a couple of restrooms, and also the laundry to be used by all the occupants. Second story is just 1-bedroom units. Can we slide it down a bit, please? So similarly, this one also, we are providing most of the rooftop for mechanical and electrical features. And next slide, please. And finally, the commercial building. This is a quite smaller structure. This is facing Perkins Street. The west elevation, that's detail number 3. That's the one facing the street. It's just a couple of commercial. Sorry, I'm trying to make it larger here on my screen. It's just a couple of commercial units. Each one is 550 square feet, and we're treating this in the same theme as the rest. By itself, it doesn't read as well as it does in, along the rest of the structures. That's where you really feel how it presents to the outside. Next slide, please. So this is the north building, south elevation. That's the one facing the parking lot. We have all of these is treated with concrete panel siding, hardy board if you want, and basically, as I mentioned, we're trying to dwell on that modern farmhouse style, which is of course typically used for standalone houses, but still that's what we're trying to emulate here. We're providing a series of balconies and balustrades, and also some side walls to provide privacy to the lower units patios, which is a mix of a masonry wall with a topping of a wood fence. And of course, the entrance to the lobbies are the elements that are distinctive and slightly higher than the rest, and it's easy to perceive. The back facade, the north facade, is quite similar. Small variations, basically along the lobby connection to the outside, and on the side elevations, which will be the ones that are seen from Perkins Place or Pato Avenue, are the ones that we see at the bottom. We are creating openings here. We want to provide some interest, not only lighting, but also interest with the use of the fenestration here along this side facades. Next slide, please. And the south building, very similar language. We do have a couple of different elements here, such as you see in the north elevation, detail number 1, the left portion, that's the community room at the bottom. So it's got multiple double doors for we want to be able to have the users integrate the indoor-outdoor experience here at this room, or to have whatever kind of family events they need to. And the upper floor, and that I forgot to mention on the floor plan, but above the community room, though, that element is basically assigned as the manager's unit. It's a 3-bedroom unit as well. And back facade is, again, very similar.
Where's the manager's unit?
Excuse me?
You pointed out the manager's unit. Is it on the third? Where is it?
This one over here.
Oh, okay.
Can we go to slide number? I'll show you on the floor plan. If we could go to slide 7. Okay, so second story. On the second floor, right hand, that's a 2-bedroom unit. That's the, what we're assigning the manager's unit doesn't necessarily need to be the manager's unit. We just thought that it would be more appropriate to be, next to the services and what have you. So it's bottom right. That's the manager's unit. Okay, and can we go now to slide number 11, please? So this is what this new proposal. With I remember that you had some comments about the massing of our previous proposal as being a little not I don't know, too blocky, if you want, and you wanted us to explore something that would be more in tune with what the town looked like. We had some comments also about the colors. So we're coming with a softer, earth tone palette. We're basically going with a soft whites and cream colors, and also using this the side walls and the with the fencing on the top to be part of the, not just the sidewall, but rather part of the narrative of how it's the whole buildings are perceived. And again, we're trying to treat those side elevations to have interest and not just be the lids, the side lids of the building, but rather really provide some interest towards the street on either side. This that we're seeing on the left is the north building. On top in general, that's the north building. And the first three are the north building, just that the bottom one is seen from the neighbor. So this is the facade facing the neighbor, not the parking lot. That's the drawing number 3. And the commercial building is seen on the lower right hand here. Next slide, please. In slide number, in the detail number 1, we can see the commercial building and how it blends in with the rest of the architecture in the back building. South building, these are all basically south building views, little more prominent on the balconies on this case. And we're also incorporating our trash enclosure in a similar language. We're providing a pergola above, and also the same sidewall treatment. And this is this concludes my presentation. Of course, I'm thanks for the opportunity, and I'm very much welcome your questions.
Pablo, behind the lower walls, is it just flat work where the patios are?
Behind the sidewalls?
The walls in front of your building.
Yes.
Private areas.
Yes.
Flat work, yes. Well, I don't think that landscape has gone in that detail. Is it going to be some kind of a gravelly area or what have you? I'm not entirely sure about that.
I didn't see any. I just
yeah. Landscape is still in the works on that end. I do know that we have the deck coming up out of the building and
Yeah.
stepping down into something. I don't think that we would like that something to be just, pavers or concrete, right? But that's something that we'll have to work for sure.
Okay.
Sorry, this is Guillermo again. Yes, it will be like a gravel surface, so people can have potted plants, and they can use that space whichever way they want. They're private courts, so in that sense, it would be up to the resident to have some potted plants or any other item, but it would be a soft escape.
I think that's perfect.
Okay, I have another, you've got a 3-story element. And also, by the way, this is a lot better than it was before. And your vocabulary is pretty playful. Why do you put a window on the 3rd floor if you're trying to reduce the size? It's just a curiosity did you try any other kind of a detail up there besides window?
Well, we wanted to we haven't fully developed this, but we do have the idea of turning it into a hot air chute out of there, to be able to exhaust hot air, make it an operable mechanized window that we could use for natural ventilation. So that was really the idea behind it. We wanted to add a feature there.
Is that an enclosed space?
It is an enclosed space, yes.
Oh, and you access it from the roof.
So it's a vaulted space from the 2nd story.
Oh, it's 2 stories high.
Yes, that's correct. From the second story, it's a 2-story high. Yeah.
That might feel extremely high, and you might think about reducing it a little bit to help with the volume of the building. Also, I also appreciate that you took our comment to heart, and all the south elevation windows, you've pretty much given them some sun protection. And that's
Oh, definitely. Yes. Yes, we heard your comment loud and clear. Yeah, definitely.
because it's so hot there.
Yes, it is.
Maybe one of the things you could do on the tower element though is the center triple window assembly maybe those windows could be taller. And then maybe the overall can come down and you could limit that window, a single window in the gable where like Jim's talking about, and maybe just detail that with some, I think what you're saying is some attic ventilation type louvers or something. And
well, if it's a volume space, maybe the window is a good idea. It's just that if you draw that in section, it's going to be so tall
it's
in
20
people's
feet.
mind. I mean, whenever I do anything over 14 feet, it kind of in your mind just disappears. You don't notice it very much because it's up there so high. It's like you're
I mean, you
almost
kind of need a
outside.
purpose for it.
And yeah, you might just examine whether or not it's better to just bring it down a few feet. If it fits. Also, you've got a lot of gables or implied gables that are running along flat surfaces. I'd sure like to see how those are going to be detailed and how you're going to pull them off. Have you done that before?
Yes. Not me personally, but here at the office, yes, it's been done.
Okay.
I also agree with you, Jim. This is far better than the previous condition. It has a lot more scale to it, and you've dealt with the solar loading a lot better. I think I agree with you that maybe a little bit of work on that tower elements is still needed a little bit. But overall, I think it's improvement.
And how far out are your little, I'll just call them implied gables? Are they like a 2 feet or so? Is that what you usually do?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
On the side of the building, it's flat. And then you've got these little, I'll just call them implied gables, the gable ends that are just applied to the wall.
Right.
How deep are those? Are those about 2 feet deep?
That's about what they look like. Yeah.
Yes, I think they're like 18 inches. I'll need to check here, but I think they're.
It's nice if you can figure out how to recess your parapets up above. You've done that in several places, to give them more depth and so they don't look like they're just applied. But overall, you know, it's
I hear
it's
you.
a lot better than it
Yeah, I
was for
think-
sure.
I think maybe something else that could, like on elevation number 2, the south building. It looks like at the end of that, the roof there, I'm not quite sure what that is. Is that a vertical roof surface that comes up there, or?
Oh, that's kind of a funny little thing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that needs a little bit of,
Maybe it's a shadow. Is that a shadow?
That's the
could
gable.
be.
That's a gable on that side.
What sheet to it through?
Is that just a gable? Is that the same material then, or? If you look at even in the first drawing on the center, pretty much in the center of the drawing, it's got that same sort of roof colored, it appears to be a vertical surface.
Yeah, if you look at elevations 3 and 4, those
Yes.
represent the gables. The applied gables on the end of the building.
I think on that one though, on number 2, it's a triangular piece of roofing. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, also on number 1, you can kind of see it there as well.
Yes.
I agree with you. We need
So,
to,
Guillermo, you need to,
massage that corners. Yes.
I mean, Pablo, you need to look at that because detail wise, that's kind of a mess right now.
Yeah, maybe
fix
it could hip in there. Try to hip that corner back in and the valley for the transitional gable coming, that comes up
Yeah. You just don't want to apply roofing vertically.
vertically. Other than, I think, overall, I think it's, like I say, it's a dramatic improvement.
Which sheet is the little building? Is that on, do you have that in a 3D?
Isn't that on the number 1 elevation there? I think that's
It is.
one facade of the commercial building, or at least
Sheet 8. Do you want to see the rendering or
The rendering of the little one or an elevation of the little one?
rendering is going to be on sheet number 11 and 12.
12 right now, and that's number 1 elevation has the
That's
end
11.
of the.
That's fine. The one at the bottom.
Yeah.
So on that one, on detail 1, that's a little bizarre that the way that your real your real gable could extend all the way across. And I'm torn whether your implied gable, we'll call it that, needs to even be there, but you could simplify that building quite a bit and make it more whole, sort of. Is there a
You're
roof?
talking about maybe, Jim, take this
Taking the
little
gable
awning
and run it all the
elements
way
and maybe
across.
transitioning
Something.
the little awning elements that are on like elevation number 2 and using those on the end elevation of number 1.
So Pablo, do you need to have a flat roof on that little building for mechanical or something?
We'd rather, yes.
So that's why it's
They have solar up there, Jim.
okay.
But I'm actually thinking more about the number 1 elevation there on the same sheet here.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of that vertical where the fenestration is, they could maybe utilize some of the same little awning details on that elevation as well. And kind of help break up that big close facade.
Could you repeat that comment real quick?
Yeah, I'm talking about, it's the building elevation from the southwest on sheet 11. If we have those kind of mini gables at the top, I was suggesting that there's a possibility of maybe incorporating some of the awning type details that are on the southwest elevation, or the long elevation there around the corner, kind of integrate the end of the building with the sides of the building and provide a little bit of interest on that vertical facade.
Steve, it might be more easier to explain if you go to their sheet number 8, where it has just the elevations of
By
that building.
elevations, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Can you go there? Sheet 8.
Sheet.
Okay, so on the southwest building elevation, possibility to incorporate awning details to provide interest on vertical facade. Does that capture what you were saying?
That's pretty much it.
So Steve, is that elevate, is it to drawing number 5? Is that what you're talking
You've
about?
gone too far. Yeah, come. I think it's 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Draw. Yeah.
Elevations for the south building are going to be on sheet number 10.
Okay. Either one. It doesn't matter which building it is. I think they're both similar.
Yeah.
So Steve, you were saying to use some of the
What?
awning.
Okay. Stop there. Yeah. On the south building elevate, or it's the west elevation. I guess the building west elevation. I was suggesting maybe you can incorporate some of those sun awning type details onto that elevation. Might kind of break that vertical facade a little bit. At least it's, or something. I think it just needs a little bit of. It's a big flat wall with relatively small fenestration. It seems like it might need a little bit of. That's going to be facing the street. I understand, right?
That's facing the playground, isn't it?
The playground and yes, and the community gardens. But yes, they will be seen from the street. They're not directly facing the street, but will be seen from the street.
Well, anyway, it's just a thought that kind of springs to my mind here, that the long facades are very detailed and broken up. The end facade, particularly of that end, the other end is, of course, got the community room, but the west elevation there maybe just needs a little bit more work.
Okay.
And sticking with this elevation, why are the shoulders on the 3-story element taller on this building than they are on the other?
Say that again. Why are the what? I'm sorry.
You know where the 3-story element is, where the window is?
Yes.
You've got taller walls. There's a bigger difference between the top of the parapet and the eave of that 3rd story. Where in the other building, the eave almost sits on top of the parapet.
Well, I think it's a matter of where you're seeing it from. As you see, these lobbies take on the stepping down of the platforms that they serve. So as you see, the height seen from this side is different from the height seen from this side.
Well, what I'm saying is that if you go up one page,
Michael, you're talking about the plates for those elements are different.
Oh,
well, yeah.
The building drops.
Well, I was curious as to why, if you notice that you've got one parapet, you have the eave almost starting on top of it, and then I understand the drop in the building. I was just curious it follows this almost the same contours, and you would have a taller wall on one side because of the building drop, but you've also got a taller wall on the opposite side. I was just curious about that. If you compare the distance between the top of the parapet, it's much taller.
On the south one.
On elevations 1 and 2 on page 10 versus elevations 1 and 2 on page 9.
Yes.
See what I'm getting at?
I see it now. Yes, I see it now.
I mean, if there's a reason for it, I was just curious as to what that reason is.
I don't recall having a particular reason for that, but let us go back into our notes here. I do think that the truer sense would be this one, which is not as protruding.
Yeah. And to be clear, I like the other elevations, just not for Kiyama. You know,
What do you mean, the
orig-
first design?
Yeah, the first design, that wasn't for Kiyama.
Understood.
Pablo, remember the triangular roof element that Steve and I were mentioning earlier?
Yes.
Okay, on your elevations, I think it's drawn with siding, but on your renderings, it's drawn with roofing. And I don't know if the siding will work or how that happened, but it needs to be addressed because
Understood. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that mess in that corner, yes, we need to address it.
yeah. Because you don't want to have an overhang and there's got to be a transition and, well, you know.
Yep, clearly understood.
There's a lot to
Was this
digest here. Did you change the layout much at all between this one and the first one? The ground layout?
The only change in the layout,
Yeah.
the only change in the layout is comes at the lobbies, which are now enclosed, fully enclosed, whereas in the previous layout, these lobbies had kind of a large roof structure overhang above the lobbies. So it was an open lobby. Now we've turned into more of an enclosed lobby.
Had a big old metal screen on each end.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think this is better for that climate particularly.
That's also, what, as we were, coming back to reimagining the volume in this new style, we thought it would be more appropriate. Yeah, for sure. Other than that, we have some tweaks inside and, added a chase wall here and there, but not much of a change.
This is Frank Thompson. I just wanted to say, and I'm happy you've respected it. We do need the surface area on the roof for the solar PV and also solar hot water. Obviously, this building will be 100% electric heating and cooling. So we do need the solar photovoltaic for that. And then we're also looking at how many, with this amount of solar, how many electric vehicles we could ultimately charge in the parking lot, given that we really don't want solar carports, and we have put no carports in the project.
Are you providing batteries?
We have a bid for batteries that's pretty reasonable, and they're not taking up that much space. We think we'll be able to find space for them in the kind of crawl space area right below the building. Yeah, so the design for the solar and battery installer was that there would be 3 days of power from the batteries if there was a complete interruption from the public supply. Yes.
Well, I think the new code's gonna mandate that battery requirement anyway.
Cool.
When it comes out in December.
I didn't know that, but yeah, that was one that we decided. So nice to be in sync with that.
Are there any other comments from the board at this time?
What was this agendized for, Michael?
It's conceptual only. There's only a preliminary application in on this, so they were just coming for conceptual. When they come forward with entitlements in the future, depending on how those entitlements are structured, they may or may not return for prelim and final depending on state law compliance and things like that.
Oh, got it.
Thank you.
One other question, it just popped into my head. Are there any units that have no steps that can be handicap accessible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, at the lower level, yes, we do have accessible units. Half of the 25% of the units are accessible.
We
You
might
don't you don't really have a choice these days. That's a state requirement.
Right.
We might have public comment on this one too. I'm not sure if any of the attendees.
Yeah, we'll get to that point.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Does the board have any other comment this time?
I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I like it a lot better than the first
I'm fine with it too, the way it is.
one. All right, with that said, is there anyone in the audience that is not part of the design team or the board would like to speak to this item?
If you have a public comment on this item, please raise your hands if you're in the attendees section. And if you are calling in, press *6 to raise your hand and *7 to unmute. Not seeing any public comment for this item.
Okay, well, thank you very much. No, I think you've done a lot on this. And we appreciate your consideration. on this item.
Thank you so much.
And we hope to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan, can you put the agenda back on the screen?
Yes.
All right, moving to the next item on today's agenda. BAR number 2200144, the Starbucks in Oregon. If the applicant is ready for his presentation, go ahead and introduce yourself for the record and we'll begin.
Good morning. My name is Mike Singelin, one of the owners of this proposed project. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to make the other two prior meetings, and now with my availability, I'll be joining this one. In conjunction with working with my architect, Robert Vermeltforth, who's presented the last two times. I believe we've made substantial advancements to meet your desires and objectives for this particular location. And you have the revised elevations on your screen now. We have pushed extremely hard with obviously this national retailer. I know they obviously are occupants in your jurisdiction, and you've had some concerns in the past, and we think we've addressed them all. And the most glaring one that through my conversations with the architect is moving away from the monotone color type of building, which is in direct contrast to what Starbucks, national platform would like to do. But I'm a preferred developer for them. I do them up and down the Central Valley and in the Central Coast. So we've made a lot of revisions outside of their comfort zone, but obviously you are the final stamp that we need to get this approved through. And we feel like we've checked all the boxes and look forward to your favorable response to these revised elevations. And Robert and I defer to your comments on this recent resubmittal.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everyone from the North Bar. We have 4 items I think that were left. One of them was the monochrome. So we have changed up the colors on the eyebrows and on the parapets. Previous bronze anodized, dark bronze anodized metal panels were not an item I think they had a problem with. If you go to the second elevation, we made the green walls bigger, and we have extended the eyebrow over the drive-through window to go around both sides of the canopy. And then I have an approval from Starbucks to go ahead and do a ground face on the CMU veneer. I didn't think I was going to get that, but very happy to see that. I can probably go through and sandblast it to get a little bit rougher finish than just a ground face. But I believe that was the 4 comments you guys had last time. And if you go on to second elevation, you can see the larger green wall and the larger wrap of the drive-through canopy.
Time I'll open up to the board for comment.
So it looks better to me, Robert, but my question is, what is the material on the entry, the black stuff?
That is a bronze anodized high rib metal panel that they're using in all their buildings right now.
Do we have any other color choices besides black?
It's dark bronze, right?
It's dark bronze. It's dark bronze to match up with the storefront system. That's why I had it that way. But
it reads black on my screen.
Yeah, it's a dark bronze anodized. If you can just think about all your storefront systems, it's that darker bronze colored.
So that's going to go with your other colors that you've got if it's a dark bronze.
Correct. It matches up with the storefront.
And the band around the top and the rest of it. Okay, that makes me happier.
Yeah, I've like you guys asked, I went for some colors and they actually want this thing all one color. They wanted the eyebrows to be the dark bronze, but since we had that kind of a pumpkin color on the one down the street, I went with that on that, and that is an available color for that. So that gives us a really good option to get that pumpkin color in there. So, and then I made the green walls. I don't know if we can get over to the second page, but the green walls and the eyebrow, I agree, guys. I think that looks better with it being a little bit bigger. So
there's landscaping, if I recall, between the wall and the drive-through lane, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and let me step in here. And this building is actually below the street level. So between the landscaping up on the street and the swales and the grass, I mean, the reality is probably from the street view, I don't even think you'll see, and Robert, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think we've seen an actual topo design yet because we're still going through this phase. I don't even think you're going to see the pickup window with the elevation difference between the cars driving east-west in front on Clark at the pickup window. Though these are nice elements from the drive-through lane perspective, the elevation grade difference, this project is set down if you're familiar with the site.
But yes, to answer your question, we do have planning in between the drive-through and the building. That's how we can get that green wall to extend up the building. So we'll have some shorter plants there too.
Can we scroll down to the?
Yeah, I'd like to see the other elevation as well.
So do you think the plants in there, I can't remember the landscape plan. They're all fairly short, right?
Correct. We've got a hedge.
A hedge, okay. On
the other side of the drive-through to block headlights and everything from the street. And then we've got a short planter right below these green walls that'll give it a nice little planter area there too. So I can probably put plants up to 2 feet tall in that little planter if you guys want, without a problem at all. Anything taller than that, and it just becomes a place for people to put stuff on top of when they're waiting in the drive-through lane.
Animals.
So look at the end elevations. Is it still the dark bronze on the tower element?
Dark bronze on the drive-through element, and then I've got the dark bronze window system.
Yeah, on my screen, kind of gray, so That's just to show it in the background.
It's just in the background, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. I think this is a really nice improvement.
Thank you. So you're trying to get a happy medium between you guys and Starbucks, so.
Do you have a site plan yet?
I have a site plan. You guys have looked at it. If you guys can't get it, I didn't turn it back in on this application package, but it is part of the 712 submittal. I've got it up on my screen if you want me to try to share it from my screen here.
I have a specific question.
I just wondered how wide the driveway is. Is there a patio on this one? I was gone when this was first heard.
Yeah, we had previously looked at the site plan. We've got a 12-foot wide drive-through expanding up to 16 foot. And then we have a large patio that is on the non-windy side of the building. And it's also going to get shade put on it in the afternoon by the building itself. So, I mean, I actually have it up on the screen. If you guys want me to try to share my screen, I can.
Yeah, Kevin, there's a 400 square foot patio east of the building that's surrounded by shrubbery and 2 trees. And then there is a green area moving east toward the drive-through.
Okay. Shannon, are you able to send that to me later so I can get up to speed on this?
Yeah, I can do that. Or Jonathan, we can share the link from the prior meeting with you.
Okay. I can look at that separately if everybody wants to keep moving on this.
Well, as they're agendized for conceptual review, I think, they've pretty much done what we've asked.
Yeah, I think it looks
okay.
Good.
Yeah.
The awning on the north elevation that's now symmetrical and much better. What color is that?
Dark bronze to match the metal panels.
Okay.
I originally had looked at making that the pumpkin like the rest of the awnings, but it looks really dumb in front of the metal panels. So
yeah.
I just said I better keep that all the same colors, otherwise it's going to look a little different.
Well, that went through my mind too, and then I just saw a big stripe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we appreciate that. That looks good.
Well, I mean, with that said, I don't get your drawings together, get your package submitted for preliminary review.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll get I'll get the basic CD package together. I'll get the materials all called out so that you guys can. Well, it's all pretty much called out here with the boxes already. Yeah, we'll finish it up and get it back into you guys. So,
right.
So if I may interject here, gentlemen and ladies, the stage we are at today, it is basically blessed, and it is a conceptual. As the developer that I am buying this land from is finalizing their stuff and their parcel map is recorded, we will take this from the conceptual site planning and elevation review, and I call it a pencil signature approval. And once the parcel map is recorded, I come in and this will convert to a formal application, which should be on the consent calendar, based on from your approval period, from your approval side. This is basically done, correct?
What do you mean consent calendar?
Well, I mean, do we agree that this is what the final building is going to look like from the conceptual side? So we are obviously
conceptually we're saying yes, but
correct.
You can't go from there to
an approved plan.
To approved plan now.
Well, until it becomes an actual formal application. I understand that. So when the formal application comes in after the steps that the developer's doing for the remainder, and the parcel's actually recorded so that I can justify spending the money with Robert to go to CDs. It's basically a formality when it goes from conceptual to formal based on what you're seeing today, correct?
It's not just a formality.
Well, I mean, right now, we reviewed it conceptually. We're indicating that you can work with your planner. Robert can prepare the CDs and return back for preliminary approval. And then when the CDs are completed and he's got all the transition details between the different materials, and all of that, then we can give final approval.
Okay, I think we're saying the same thing, and
Okay.
and that's good. I just can't afford, and in this economy we're dealing with, the market's moving too drastically,
Too fast, yeah.
that, it comes back and say, well, we don't like the bronze anymore. I want to feel 95% comfortable that conceptually, what you see on your screen today is what you're going to see in the CDs, and then the appropriate steps will be taken when it becomes quote unquote the formal submittal.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's exactly what I needed to hear, because then I can start writing checks.
To the end bar, this is Ben, the planner. Would this be something that you're comfortable seeing come back for prelim and final at once, or would you prefer it come back for preliminary on its own and then final after that?
No, I need to, my goal and objective is to come back as preliminary and final at that meeting, because I have to get CDs in, and in a perfect world, need to start construction end of first quarter next year.
You can turn in for building permits with a preliminary.
Okay, so I can go at risk with that. We still have a couple steps. Well, the developer still has a couple steps to get that done, so I can actually have a parcel. But yeah,
Right,
my goal and objective is to come in with a preliminary and formal and look for formal approval at the same time.
Yeah.
We just don't have the time to wait another month.
Yeah, we're gonna basically be looking at your CDs to make sure that you actually reinforce your design that you have right here, not looking to change the design.
That is correct. Yeah, we would. Yeah, that just belt and suspenders of what we say we're going to do on the screen is what is on the CDs, and I am completely in agreement with that.
Very good.
All right.
Wonderful. Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and we look forward to getting this project under construction and going in your jurisdiction.
Sounds good. Good luck now.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, so at this time, we'll move on to agenda item number 4. BAR 16-0009, the Orchid gas station. And I will leave it up to you guys to conduct the meeting, and then I'll return to close today's MBAR meeting. Good luck, guys.
Okay. So
Is Mike and Kevin
Michael-
recused on this one, both of them?
yes,
Do we have Bobby here?
Bobby is calling in. Bobby, can you hear us?
I'm still here, guys.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. We have James, Steve, and Bobby for this item.
Is Kevin on this one too?
Kevin's
Yes.
the landscape architect for this one.
Oh.
I was just making sure we had a quorum, but we do, so that's excellent.
Definitely.
Yep, I'm still here. I'm still listening. I just muted because you get the background noise from my phone, so. But I've been here the whole time listening.
No, we got you, Bobby. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. How would we like to proceed with this item?
Hi, everybody. This is Gwen, planner. This item is here for preliminary and final today. It was approved by the Board of Supervisors. It had been appealed to the board. It was approved last May, and we are now working on the zoning clearance. So we are here for you for prelim and final. And I think that the agent is on the call, so I'm going to let you take over the presentation, Brian.
It says on our agenda preliminary review.
Oh, okay, my apologies. I thought it was prelim and final. But if that's the case, we will be here for preliminary.
Good morning, members of the board. I'm Brian Tetley with Urban Planning Concepts. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Thanks so much. We're here today to come back with a revised package for your review. We took note of your comments from the last meeting, And we think we've addressed all the concerns that were expressed there in regards to the height of the proposed mini mart building, the concerns about the entrance, the colors and the glazing for the building. And as far as the agenda, I see in my agenda that we're scheduled for preliminary and final review. But I don't think our package has all the final details you would need for actual final review. So I think what we're looking for is your preliminary nod at this point. And so at this point, I'll turn it over to Mr. Randall Araki with Martinez Architects, and he'll walk you through the changes. Thank you.
I don't see Randall.
I don't either.
No Randall. Okay. Well, could we?
There are two people labeled as the fourth item that don't have names, so it could be that one of those is Randall.
I'm here.
Okay.
Hello?
Yep. Randall?
Hello? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Yeah,
I don't
we
think you can hear us.
Are you calling in?
I-
Press
I-
*7 to unmute.
Yeah, I'm using my phone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So last meeting, you guys had an issue with the entry storefront and the doors being uninviting, I guess, and small. Yeah, Michael changed that to I think he made them 8 foot now. Before there were 7 foot doors. You could kind of make 2 windows on either side of the entry. Yeah, to make it more inviting, I guess.
Well, can you show us the elevation?
Oh, I don't have the drawings. So if you could go to page A440A.
A440A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay. Wait.
0A?
Yeah.
That's it right there.
There we go.
Scroll down a little bit more. A little bit more. Yeah. So the top elevation was the previous middle that you guys looked at a couple weeks ago, and below is the revised elevation. And I believe you guys didn't like how someone commented about the grid lines of the wall panels not aligning with the windows, and I think he changed that to align everything, including the leasable space on the left-hand side storefronts.
Is the brown material the same in both elevations?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's the same wood. It's just he didn't color it the same.
Just rendered out differently? Okay. So
Yeah, exactly.
Is it wood or metal?
I believe it's
Wood or
metal.
metal? Metal would be the Corten, the vertical.
The vertical is
paneling
Corten.
on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And the horizontal is wood.
The horizontal.
horizontal lines around the windows is wood.
Yeah. And then the main wall panels are concrete.
You lowered, and you lowered the whole roof 2 feet, most of it except for the entry, right?
Well, I think you lowered it 18 inches. And you got rid of the band over the window. If you look at see that dark kind of contrasting band over the top of the window, you got rid of that and you put a band at the bottom, kind of like an accent band at the bottom, I guess.
Okay, the panels, the panels in the front elevation, north elevation, are one size. When you go to the left elevation, the east elevation, they're a different size. Why is that?
The east elevation?
Yeah. On 406.
Are you talking about the vertical panels or the horizontal side?
The concrete wall panels.
Concrete wall panels.
They're different size on the ends and on the back than they are in the front.
I can't see that, so.
I don't think they're the different. Yeah,
they're about 2 feet shorter on the front than they are on the sides and the back.
Oh, you're looking at the east elevation. Oh, that because the east side of the building steps down.
No, the panel sizes are different. They're a lot longer than they are on the front.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think you just forgot a line.
I think they're different scale. I mean, a different length, but
yeah, but I don't think they would come that long, would they? I think
you're going to turn the corner. You're going to turn the corner.
I mean, is it possible to see the east elevation?
Well, when you turn the corner on both sides, east elevation. No, but you can see the west. They just are different sizes. I guess they are on it. Maybe you're right, Steve. Maybe those you can't see very much.
I don't know, because I can't see the west elevation at all. I only have the north elevation shown.
Can you scroll down to A40C?
Yeah, see, those are different.
Yeah, those are
shape.
they are right.
Okay.
Even the back even looks a little bit.
Well, the back
at the south elevation kind of matches the east, I guess. But they do look like a couple feet longer.
Yeah, they are. So address that.
Okay.
Then back to the 4.0A sheet, your front elevations.
A 4.01.
4.0A, yeah.
4.0A.
That one. I tried looking at this with the base colors on the bottom 2 rather than the bottom 1. And to me, it looks a little bit better. I think you should give it a try and see what you think. It kind of gives you the bottom 2 instead of the bottom 1. You've got a different color along the bottom, the band color.
Oh, you're saying that darker band at the bottom?
Try it on the bottom 2 instead. I think it's kind of pleasing. It kind of gives you a better human scale a little bit and makes the building look smaller. Also, there's signage area above the door, but we're not looking at signage now, right?
I don't believe so.
Okay, you're probably going to have signage on the little separate one to the left, the second storefront. Do you intend to just put it between the 2 brackets? Is that enough space?
Yeah, maybe those brackets need to be spread out a little further.
I don't know. I think about where you're going to put the signage, because it might change that face a little bit. Also, the storefront on the smaller storefront is the same as it was before, it's just taller. But it doesn't really relate very well to the other door. So I think you still need to kind of look at the way that it's delineated. The divisions need work because they don't really relate to the other opening very well.
Maybe we put double doors on that.
I don't know how it works. You've got the door kind of way over to the side. It's the same height as the other one, but I'd play with that and see if you could make it kind of relate more to that other door opening, because it's like they're two different things right now.
Okay.
Everything is flat on the front except the metal corten. It comes out about 6 inches, but the wood and the concrete panels are in the same plane, I think, right?
Yes, I believe so. Right.
Is that the material around the windows in the center section? Is that the wood? I can't read it on. Okay.
And the storefront, he didn't really color it right, but the
No, I
storefront
get
is a
that.
dark bronze. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to kind of recess, but you've got a little bitty band up on the top, and the proportions need to be fiddled with a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's definitely moving in the right direction. I agree with you, Jim, that maybe it would be worth a look to see if you doubled the tan belt at the bottom a little bit to the second one, see how that affected the overall scale.
On my drawing, I clipped the bottom and pasted it up, and and if you put a person there, I think it's going to relate human size a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other elevation of interest is on 4.0C, which is the west elevation.
Right.
Oh yeah, he did change that.
And those
Can you go
windows
to
pretty much
4.0C?
mirror the ones on the front.
James, could you repeat that comment? Sorry, I was trying to scroll to that in my.
I said the windows on that end are copies of the windows in the front, so they relate. Is the G the logo for the center?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, it was actually. This is Brian Tetley. It's meant to stand for Orca Gas, OG.
OG.
Got it. Oh, that's good.
Oh, so that is a sign.
It's a sign, and that the material that it's on is also the material that's on the awning, correct? Over the gas station, so it kind of relates a little.
Yeah, exactly. Can we scroll down?
Which sheet would you like to go
to see? A40C?
Oh, T? Sorry?
There you go, that one.
C. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he added wood all the way across. Yeah. I don't know.
And then if you scroll down one more sheet, there's the awnings over the I guess you call them awnings. They're not awnings. They're the covers over the pumps. The columns are made out of what?
Columns are the same material as the, or those concrete panels, I believe.
Concrete panels.
Yeah.
Are there going to be any signs on the canopy itself? You think?
That I don't know.
Comes later, I think, doesn't it, Jim?
Yeah, but I mean, just in concept wise, if they're, you just put a block maybe, but that's a wood material, correct? I think
That's the Corten, I believe.
that's the Corten. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was
that makes more
there a reason why the cantilever on one end is more than the other end?
I mean, on the right hand side, I don't know why.
Seems like it's.
Yeah, it is off centered a little bit.
Okay. When you get around to this one, revise around there where the windows and fenestration changed on the main building, maybe. Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. I take that back.
Is there anything else you guys say, or?
Bobby, did you have any comments on this? Or?
Those are my comments that I had. We're just kind of discussing material placement and grids and.
I hadn't heard from Bobby. I just wondered if he had any comments. Or...
I didn't have any comments, guys. I'm okay.
Okay. Thank you. So Jim, this was agendized for preliminary at this point?
I just wanted to add, I checked the agenda right now. It's actually agendized for preliminary and final for today's agenda.
The one I have just said it must have changed.
I don't know if we have enough detail to approve it as a final.
No. I think they need to come back with some of those things that we addressed for the final, and we can do preliminary. Then they could submit it.
Yeah.
So I move for preliminary approval, since we don't.
I'll second.
With the comments that we've had.
Yep. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bobby? Did we lose Bobby?
Aye. Sorry, it didn't unmute.
Perfect. 302. Motion carries by 302.
So just take a look at some of those comments that that we had and proceed with your construction docs.
Yeah,
That's great. We appreciate everyone's comments, and we got a page full of notes, and we look forward to seeing you guys for final.
Okay, Brian.
Thank you all so much for your review.
Thanks, Gwen.
Are we done?
We are.
We need Michael to come back.
Michael will come back.
He said he was coming back. I missed Michael.
Need our fearless leader.
Hey, guys.
Okay, what's the address on the card, Jackie?
6495.
Hey, Michael, we just
Oh.
finished the last project.
Okay, great. Hey, Jonathan, what's the date for our next meeting?
Let me bring that.
GRIE.
The 18th of next month.
All right, I'm going to be out of the area for that meeting. So I just wanted to give you
You
guys
can
a
do it
heads
from
up.
your phone, Mike. I did.
I know you do, but where I'm gonna be, I don't think I'm gonna have reception.
Oh, okay. You guys don't want to know where I am today.
You're in Mexico, right?
Cabo San Lucas, Mexico.
That's what I figured, Bobby.
Hey, but it's been great, guys. I've enjoyed every minute.
And we've enjoyed having you here. Well, yeah, I'm not going to be able to, where I will be and what I'll be doing, I'm not going to be able to get to a phone. So just a heads up.
Okay.
Okay.
And with
I don't
that,
think that's acceptable, Michael.
well, I mean, it just depends. And if I get something early, then I'll be done hunting. If not,
Or give me some glasses. You give me
So-
a prescription.
with that said, I'll ask for a motion to close today's meeting.
Yes, I
So
do.
moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
You.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you very much for your participation today.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Jeff. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.